gentlemen, boys and girls, Trade to Live, episode 13. I am your host, Mr. Big Guap Brady, Tristan, and we got my boy, Mr. Tristan. My dog over here co-hosted with me today. I'd love to have him. How are you doing today, Mr. Rick?
I'm doing good, man. I'm going to give you a little thank you. I don't think I told you it was going to be me hosting you today.
Whoa! We're doing a little switch up today. I gotta switch up the hat. We're doing the switch up on the phone. Okay.
Yeah, I thought of a lot of things today for you. I'm like, I should ask Tristan some things because a lot of questions I have for you because you're somebody that has been very dedicated and disciplined for the last 7 months ever since I met you. But before we start, how was your trip back home?
Yeah, the trip back home was amazing. And I appreciate the dedicated the comments. I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot. I've been trying hard. But the trip back home was all over the place. It was supposed to be like a international, but North America world tour. Going to see friends all over the States. They got cut a little bit short because, like you know, but not a lot of people at home know, but I got dengue fever from the trip at Bacalar the week before. There's a little bit of a gestation period of about anywhere from 2 to 14 days. So about 7 days in, I got deleted. Like my body was just done. But the trip was amazing. Went to San Diego, saw some friends. Went to Vegas, partied and had a great time with my boys' bachelor party. Went to LA, Santa Barbara, all up and down the United States, just all over, seeing friends. Went to Denver, saw my boy Dart out there. Shout out to him. I know he's watching the podcast right now. The trip was amazing, but it's so good to be back in my natural environment. Like, it's so crazy that Mexico is now home to me. Like, I feel comfortable here. I feel like, okay, now I got my rhythm, I got my routine. I can wake up at 5:30, do my journaling, hit pre-market with you. It just feels good to be back. So
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, good to be back, bro.
Your energy is something different. Everyone knows in MyStockLife. During the daytime, you go on Discord and just pump people up. And but Tristan, tell me one thing. Mm-hmm. You've been part of MyStockLife for many months now. Yep. You've seen us start from before we even had a paid service.
Yeah.
There, right? And guys, the first paying member that we had on MyStockLife was our own member, which was Tristan. Right? And he didn't even ask a single thing to self-friendly. Even though he works with us, right? And he supported us. He was the first one to support MyStockLife. Thank you for that. Yeah. Right. You're in a lot of respect of mine on that day. You didn't say to me just nothing. You straight gave me a credit card. Okay. And that same month before, if you don't know, he took a 25K account to a 100K account in 2 months.
It was about in like 45 days. Yeah.
45 days. So he knew the potential, right? Mm-hmm. Straight run diamond. But anyways, tell me first thing, how was MyStockLife introduced to you? I know you came through TT, was the one who approached you. So tell me a little bit about yourself, how you and T, what exactly happened, how you guys interacted with each other.
Yeah, I won't go into too deep of the specifics, but long story short, me and T had mutual friends, and we had never met each other, but we heard just a little story about him and me just here and there. And then one day I went to a taco stand. I was actually hanging out with the mutual friends, go to the OXXO to get some gum because we're supposed to go hang out at the town that night. And my goodness, bro, I'm walking past the taco stand and I see like this tall Punjabi guy, and I'm like, yo, what's good? What's going on? How's your day, bro? And he's like, don't know who this guy is. He doesn't know who I am. I'm just in a super good mood. And like, he's like, bro, I love your energy. Like, I trade stocks. You should definitely like talk to me and we can see what we could do. I'm like, yeah, bro. I've heard it before. Like, I've heard people trade Forex, trade cryptos and that. It's just like multi-level marketing. But one day when I was out here, I posted on my story that we're going to go play basketball. It was supposed to be like 30 people that were supposed to show up. And it was me, T, and Adam Bracken, the only people that showed up. So I'm putting on my shoes, we're about to ball, and I see Adam jump into T's arms. I'm like, what the heck? Like, this is just completely unlike Adam, if you guys know Adam. He's in Vegas right now. I saw him on my trip. But dude, so he jumps into T's arms, and I'm like, what the heck? And then I go over there, and T is showing him one of his TD Ameritrade accounts, and I was like, oh snap, this dude trades stocks. So I was like, all right. So literally the next morning he was like, yeah, come over at like 9 o'clock if you want to learn how to trade. I take my little beach cruiser from all the way in the middle of nowhere, Tulum, bro. It takes about 30 minutes to ride over, and ever since then I was just with him every single day, just sitting next to him. And then eventually it turned into me canceling my flight, and then staying here longer, and then going home for Christmas, and then being here since like a couple days before New Year's.
So now full-time trader.
Full-time trader.
Not even 1 year.
No, it's crazy, dude. It's absolutely insane that my whole life completely changed, and it wasn't even 7 months. It was a matter of just like one day hanging out with T, and then the next day I'm like, all right, I'm trading. That's it. Like
you saw the potential in T. T is very good with. I mean, he was doing it live with you, so you saw everything in real. It wasn't screenshots or anything. You were sitting with him when he was going in with those amounts. And what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I was like,
he was just throwing 1,000 contracts. You probably didn't know what contracts were, but you saw the.
Yeah, I saw the profit and losses after the trades. It was like, dude, I didn't know what a contract was at all. And then he was buying 1,000 of them in SPY, and I'm like, dude, what the. Did this dude just make like 40 grand right now? What the heck, dude? Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason we call him the Spy Master.
Yeah.
And, so people who have been with us for 6-7 months, T was actively trading Spy at that time. Now he's just taking it chill, like enjoying his time. But tell me one thing, since we're talking about stocks here, when you were new sitting beside T, he was going through the numbers, he was buying the contracts, options. As a new person, how confusing was it for you? And how did you learn? How long did it take you to learn what options were? I mean, how did you learn? How long did it take you? Just in short. And how did you understand the entire process that, okay, this is an options contract, this is how it's done?
Man, so sitting next to him and watching him, I've always believed in immersion. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm looking for a mentor, I'm looking for a teacher, I'm looking for a coach, because that's the best way to learn. Like videos can only do so much, books can only do so much. Like watching somebody active doing it. So that's how I learned the best. And then on top of that, learning from you, and so I got like two main mentors in the trade game. It's T, and then you, and then a little bit of love. But with T, I just learned like very broad strokes. Like this is a contract, this is an option. This is like it's like a way to leverage a little bit of money and make a lot of money. And then when I sat down with you and started learning with you, I started to fill in the fine details. Like this is theta. This is delta. This is what gamma is. This is what IV is. This is what happens when it doesn't move in your favor, and then time decay starts happening. So it was a culmination of just being thrown into something that was completely foreign to me, because I didn't know what an option was. I didn't know what a contract was, and then I got in, and then I started on my own time watching videos, going on TD Ameritrade, picking up X, Y, and Z, just little bits and pieces. And I always relate back to martial arts. If there's like in jiu-jitsu, if there's a move that I don't know or don't understand how it plays into the game, I still learn it anyways, because it makes up the total picture. And there's going to be another piece that I learn at some time in the future that ties directly into that. And I understood that from the beginning. One of the most amazing things about trading is it has such a high ceiling cap. Like you could be so bad at trading, and then years go by and you can be so good at trading, and the gap is so crazy between. Like a beginning trader is never going to outtrade an experienced trader just because of how high the ceiling cap is. It's 100% out of 100%.
Because trading is learned practically. You cannot learn from the books. It's like one person, I speak on 2 or 3 members already on the phone. One person was talking to me today. He's been trading for 1.5 years, 6 months with options. But ever since he's coming to MSL, he's learned what risk management was, which people don't know outside. Nobody teaches you these things. So he was asking, like, I'm already in the market for 6 months. I know the market. No, that's not how it's done. I'm like, you gotta trade for a minimum 3 years in order to understand what the market is, because I can teach you what a card break is, a celebrator. I can teach you how to draw a card on the book, but not until you're in the driver's seat. You don't learn, right? So trading is all practical. It takes a long time. So you yourself have at least 2 or 3 years before you fully understand, because everything that you're watching now, all the charts, the price action, when you're going to look back after 3 years, when you see the practical movements, for companies like IKT, which you get stuck in something like Viacom, you're going, damn, this is what happened after 3 years. This is what happened to these companies. It will give you a bigger picture of the market, what's possible in the future. Maybe Rocket will be trading at $2 after 3 years. You don't know. Or maybe it'll be 100, or maybe it sticks at 20. So that basically teaches you stuff that anything is possible in the market. So stock can stay sideways for years. It can go down all the way to flush. Like it can become a penny stock, or it can just rip through the skies. Anything is possible. Now, tell me another thing. You always have a notebook in the morning. You're very disciplined when it comes to waking up. Other than myself, in MyStockLife, you're the one person that inspired me to wake up every morning. I was doing it myself, but it was just me, not myself, every day, right? Well, others did too. I mean, everyone has their own schedule, right? But just me in the mornings. And then he's doesn't even sleep.
He's in insomnia, yeah.
He's like at 4 a.m. he'll be watching CNBC, so his times are random. Like I don't understand, right? But now every morning you write notes. Apart from trading, sometimes there are a lot of downturns that happen in trading. You've seen it, right? But overall, you're up net, which is great, right? Now, when you took that time from 25 to 100K, in very short words, did it take you out of your zone a little bit? That yes, I can make all the money in the trading world. And then February, March, April came, where the markets were a little. Now, what did you learn in that period of time? Because that was a very big learning experience.
Right.
You learned that early, which is a very good thing. Instead of learning that after 2 years, you learned right from the beginning. Your account is shot up. And then the next few months, they're probably going to side with a little dip, which happened with all of them. Now, tell me something. What did you learn from that as a trader? How did it change you mentally, and did it bring in some reality? What was it?
Oh man, so there was just a slew of emotions because in January, like you could just shoot calls out pretty much anything, and everything was just ripping. Like Snow was ripping, Zoom was ripping, Facebook was ripping, like all these different things were ripping, and it just was like you could throw money at whatever, and then like that kind of gave me like an invincibility type, like okay, we could just trade, like this is it. And then February, March, and April rolls around, and it's like okay, like one great quote that I heard that relates to it. It's like whenever you think you know the locks to the trading game, they change the locks on you. It's whenever you think you have the key, they change the locks. That's something that I've learned. And another thing with the ceiling cap being so high, there's so much money in play, and it's so predictable, but it's so unpredictable in the same sense. And until you start trading, it's really hard to understand that statement. Like there's forced buying, there's forced selling, there's controlled buying, there's controlled selling. But that takes so much willpower and determination and like money and just years upon years of experience to replicate. Dude, what I learned in that 4 month span from January to like April, May time, it was invaluable. It was like you can get lucky, but the market is going to take it back if you don't know what you're doing. It is absolutely not necessarily a casino. I don't like saying casino because it's not gambling. It's not gambling at all, but it's like market tuition at the end of the day. If you think that you're better than the market is going to humble you. And I definitely got humbled. And to speak on the discipline, man, you were an inspiration. Like it's one thing to be self-motivated and to want to have a better life and do the practices that people that are successful do. But it's also something to have like not necessarily a competition, but like knowing, okay, if I'm not up, Ricky's up regardless. So I need to be up. And there was a little period of time when I was dating somebody and like waking up with them and they're not motivated to get up in the morning, it just throws you off your game. And now that picture is closed out, it's like I'm back on my grind, I'm journaling, meditating, reading, up in the morning, listening to the market prep with you. And it just feels good to be back on like I'm stepping forward, even though it's hard, even though it's like there's wind resistance. It feels so good to be stepping forward instead of falling back.
So one thing I was telling people to in the morning, because of your words, in order to be confident in the market, in order to know that okay, any trade that you get into is to bring that confidence level up. If you're waking early in the market, watching a little bit of news, you're going with a pre-market prep, it helps you mentally. Mm-hmm. So if you're sometimes somebody just asks that I lost my confidence in the market. In order to bring that confidence back up, you need to get up early. You need to do the work. You need to look at all the news. You need to go through the price upgrades, downgrades. You need to look at what, like for example, tomorrow there's CPI numbers coming. Today's July 13th. Mm-hmm. So today's July, 12th? Yes, so today's July 12th. Tomorrow is July 13th, CPI numbers coming. So I already know what I'm going to be looking for tomorrow in the morning. How about you? And we have some banks earnings tomorrow, JPM, Goldman Sachs. So if you have this information beforehand, you know what you're expecting, you will be more confident in making your trades, in placing your bets. You may be wrong, but at least you know that you did the work, you made the right trade, which after multiple trades will leave you up with net profits. Okay? And one thing, now you met LB not too long ago, right? You guys have a great chemistry, you do a lot of podcasts with him. He brings plays out of the air like this sometimes, very fast with his plays, right? Watches multiple tickers, like many tickers. A new ticker that he might not even know. Mm-hmm. But if he sees something, he'll play right away. Like he has that strength, right? And he nails that trade. Like NEGG just last week. Yeah. Freaking the stock went from $10 to $80. As soon as somebody mentioned the group, he took full advantage of it right away. Mm-hmm. And shortly after my fall, I ended up falling 2 weeks. I was like, okay, I have this confirmation. Let's get this. And he totally nailed it. right? But what's one thing from LB, this is a random question, that you learned from him as a trader? Like, what's one thing that you picked up from?
Oh man,
I'm pretty sure there's more than one.
Oh, there's plenty. Yeah, there's so many. There's so many that I've learned from him. One thing that I love about his trading style is he finds momentum swing trades and then plays them strong. And that's something so beautiful that like he can hop into something, and if it's not going his way in a certain amount of time, then he knows that he needs to get out because it's not doing the price action that he was needing it to have the confidence in it. And one thing I really like about LB, he trades strong. Like he trades with conviction inside of his trades, and the fact that he can get up there in front of an audience of paying members and then call out trade after trade after trade, and have such a high percentage on top of them. Like he, with you and your spreads, you're very precise, very very much like single shot. I'm going to hit this, boom, and it's going to hit. It's very much that like sniper scope. With LB, it's a little bit more like. And like he's damn consistent with it. So and on top of that, man, that man is, I'm not gonna say an animal, but he likes to have fun. He likes to enjoy life, and then can get up in the morning and then also be super responsible. So I mean, it's something so cool to have big brother figures like you, where I get up in the morning, I know for a fact that you're gonna be up, and then it's also so cool to have so much fun with LB and then see him produce 3, 4, 5 winning trades inside of one single day, which is insane. Like the ability to look at his ability to look at a chart and then immediately see the resistance and see the support and then see where this thing is going just based off the price action. It's a blessing to be around that type of influence. And I was just thinking when I came back, I got to sit next to LB more. I got to sit downstairs more and just like pick pieces and parts from you and him, because if I'm in between you two, it's just the osmosis of everything going crazy. So
the two shields.
Yeah.
He's like the ultimate. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. One trade is all you need. He assists as one trade. Like all you need is one trade. That's it. Mm-hmm. And he's proven it over and over again.
Oh my goodness.
And and LB is very good with technical indicators. Now you're new. You're about 7 months older than the market. I believe 8 now. I think since you started in December. Based on technical indicators, which one do you like the most? Why?
Man.
Give me one.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of RSI. And, I keep in mind that it's a lagging indicator. Like, it takes a little bit for the price action to reflect on RSI. But the ability to tie the RSI into the psychology of the markets and see the price action and understand, like, okay, not only is it a prediction, but this is where people's money is actually going. This is how many open contracts there are. This is, the percentage of people that are thinking it's overbought, oversold. And it's super powerful to have that tool where you can see if this is trading inside of the channel. Is it overbought? Is it oversold? And like I said, you got to keep in mind it's a lagging indicator, and it's not always 100% successful. But with using the right technical indicators in the right way, even if it gives you a 5% edge, 7% edge, 10% edge on the competition, on top of the markets, like with your spreads, like any percentage that I can get before I place my hard-earned money into it is something that I'm going to take advantage of. And it's something I learned from you and from LB, is use the tools that you have. And that's why I'm so blessed to be on Thinkorswim. Like, I didn't learn on Robinhood. I didn't learn on any of these other platforms. And I took the time to give them a call and then set up like an hour-long instructional on how to use the platform. And that was just, bro, like, here's a toolbox, and I was using a hammer and a shovel, and then they open that up, and it's like, oh, you got a measuring tape, you got a bucket of paint, like, you got all these different things, and it's just so beautiful to have those.
More than one tool. So indicators is really tricky when you're using them, because some will be bullish, some will be bearish. Now, when using indicators, you need to understand what to use, when to use. Along with the indicators, you need to look at longer time frames as well. Along with the longer time frames, you need to look on the earnings side. Along with the earnings, you need to look at what the market sentiment is. Along with that, you need to learn and see if there are any upgrades coming in. With that, you need to see are there any Fed numbers or Fed speeches coming up, right? Is this a stock which can be, affected by inflation maybe, or deflation? I don't know anything, right? Is it cyclical? Is it what industry is stock in? So it's not just indicators alone. I'm just doing this out so people that are listening, they know that, okay, it's just not indicators alone. Because a lot of people get into the market, they start learning what is the stock market, how do you do trading, and there will be tutorials teaching indicators. or what support and resistance is, but there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not just the indicators alone; it's a lot more. Anything that you can think of, right? Another thing, Tristan. One thing that you learn from T. T is, I mean, he's the founder of MyStockLife. He's been in the game for many years, right? He can sit on his hands as long as he, right? And was one thing that you admire about T, like as a trader, right? As a person, we already know he's one of the best out there, but as a trader, what's that one thing that you picked up from T, and what do you? I mean, how has it helped you?
Man, there's a world of things that I respect about T. It's hard to choose just one, but I think it's more so his personality than his trading style. The fact that this man can make a very, very, very substantial income yearly by just by himself. He doesn't have to share the trades. He doesn't like he has positions where if he just plays out, he could be chilling, laughing 1 year, 2 year, 5 years down the line. And the fact that he wants to spend his time and create this platform that we have where we can give people the power to be autonomous and get away from a 9 to 5 and accept that stress. I think T, out of anybody that I've ever met, has been able to accept financial stress and that responsibility of not only himself but other people. Whoa, it blows my mind even thinking about just like how many people he has in his backpack at one time, where he just like MyStockLife, us over here on the media team, like there's so much pressure on him because we look up to him as the creator of MyStockLife, and we follow his trades in expectation of great things. Like, of course.
And well, I've never met a person in my life who has such a high risk profile. Nobody ever does. And it's crazy. But hey, you know what? That's the reason he's made it where he has. The simplest thing. I've seen the biggest ups and downs in his life. I know that. So I know that. I agree with you. Well, thank you all that you do, T. And thank you, LB, for all that you do. Right? And our team members that we have in Discord everywhere, they appreciate you a lot for the motivational, everything that you give. How does, and that has nothing to do with trading. Yeah. But mentally you keep yourself very strong. How does that help in your trading, keeping yourself mentally strong and listening to all the motivational and inspirational speakers? How does that help you as a trader?
Man, so it helps me progress. Like, I know that there's a flame inside of me that's something that I can use to light the path for so many other people. And I'm still discovering the path to take to be able to share that gift. But when I found out about Tony Robbins, when I found out about Les Brown, and these people are making millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year, just providing value to people in a spiritual sense, in a motivational sense, it's something that gives me light, it gives me joy. It's like I have that same energy inside of me. And if I can translate that into a monetary value, that's something that just makes me the most happy person in the world. But on top of that, it's life is not easy. Nobody ever said life is going to be easy. Even with all of the tools that we have today, life is one of the most clever negotiators in the entire world. It can make you have $1 million and then be sad that you don't have 10. And if you allow that trap to happen, it could be so detrimental to your mental health. And one thing that I learned from sales and just being inside of a commission-only environment is that if you don't have people with you, it becomes so much harder, so much harder. And the people I meet randomly, like on my travel, I met 2 people from MyStockLife that had no intention of meeting up, just randomly meeting traveling, and they both have really appreciated the motivation that I give. And shout out to Gokul. Yeah, he said
Gokul and
Chef City.
Chef City,
Yeah. But they both said like thank you, because one thing that I've been really analyzing since I came back from my trip is what makes a healthy life. And I know a bunch of traders that have a ton of money but aren't necessarily living a healthy life. Their relationships aren't the strongest, their mental health, their diets. And when it comes to that, you need to really keep a well-rounded, because I've fallen into the trap too, where it's like, oh man, my portfolio's up, nothing else matters. I don't care. Like if I'm eating garbage every single day and just doing like staying out late, it doesn't matter if my portfolio's up. But then you get to a point where it's like, all right, money's not everything. And I'm starting to deteriorate here physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So just being able to be blessed with that gift of like a voice, like where I'm not afraid to share the love that I have in my heart. I feel like it's my duty to give back, and the fact that MyStockLife gives me a platform to like practice. Oh my God, that's all I can ask for, bro. Like I will pay to speak to you guys just for the practice of it.
A lot of people appreciate you. I mean, people have ups and downs in their own personal lives, not just trading.
Right.
And when they listen to you, forget trading, but like maybe they ask having a bad day at home, at work, and they appreciate you. I mean, you help them out, so thank you for that. I mean, today I was listening to you myself, and I wasn't feeling too good myself, right? And nothing to do with trading, just myself alone.
Yeah.
And you kind of uplifted me, so I'm like, wow, right? So.
Love, brother, love. I'm glad I was able to give that.
Yeah, so guys, that was Tristan, and my goal today was to ask him some things as a new trader from the last few months. I hope it's helped you if you're listening and you can relate to some of those things, right? He's 8 months into trading and he's full time, and pretty sure one day he's gonna hit it big. It's coming soon, and. I think with that we'll end it, and it's good to have you back. Hopefully, you're gonna see me.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some different topics next time I do a podcast for them. But today was more about you're 7 months in, 8 months in. A lot of people will relate to you when they listen to you, right? And so trading is not an overnight thing. You don't have to trade every day, not every week, but you do gotta watch the market every day. Remember, learning is what matters, and trades will come. I mean. 25K to 100K in 45 days, right?
That's amazing, yeah.
So it'll happen again. It's gonna happen again.
I'm
much more.
I'm absolutely positive, man. The way that you've been playing Amazon, the way that like neg, one thing that I've really learned is if you miss one train, there's always another one loading up. There's always another opportunity. Always.
But for that opportunity, you gotta manage your risk. You gotta manage your numbers. You gotta have cash in your account. So on a 10K cash account, you should have at least minimum $8,000 cash all the time if you're playing options. If you have a 50K account, 30K in equities, and you only have 20K cash, your account is 20K.
Yeah.
This moment is not 50K. Don't be in that. So that equity doesn't tell us you're safe by cash.
Yeah.
But manage your numbers, work on risk management. We got some great videos on your sessions. And love you all. With this, we'll end it with this podcast. Podcast number 14, I'm going to have 2 kids here with me. Not kids, 2 young new traders who have been here for a few months. And we'll see what their experiences are like and what they're learning in the trading world. Thank you, and with this, we'll end it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a year and 8 months, and then 2 years and 8 months, and then 3 years and 8 months. So, this is a marathon, not a sprint, and I'm happy to be with the team that we have here. So,
thank you, Guap Brady.
Mr. Ricky, pleasure to be here, big guy. All right, let's go ahead and end it out. If you made it. Oh, and by the way, if you guys are looking at the chat, Rickster took an L to me yesterday.
I'll give that to you. Don't worry, I got this. We're going to play a lot.
Yeah. If you guys made it to this point of this video, please like, subscribe, comment, help us out with the algorithm. We've been growing crazy. We've been growing crazy. I think we've doubled, tripled our numbers since the beginning of the year. So, like I said, 8 months in, we're going to be a year at 8 months. We're going to be 2 years and 8 months. It's going to be completely different. I'll have a little bit more facial hair, a little bit more muscle, a little bit more money to me. So, a lot more money to me. A lot more money, just a lot more wisdom too. So, I'm looking forward to look back on this and our current setup and then see how the setup changed, see how the people change. So, like I said, like this video, help us out with the algorithm. We love you guys so much. It's MyStockLife or no life. Love you guys.
Peace out.